The atmosphere inside Gainbridge Fieldhouse was electric before the ball even tipped. Fans weren't just walking into a playoff game, they were walking into a fight for respect. Game 1 had left scars. Whistles that felt lopsided, crucial possessions that slipped away because of questionable officiating, and the bitter taste of a loss that seemed more stolen than earned. That anger simmered through the crowd, and the energy in the building was more than anticipation. It was defiance. They were ready to see whether their team could push back against not just the Atlanta dream, but against the very narrative that had begun to form around them. The Fever themselves had every reason to crumble. 5 players were out, including Caitlin Clark, the star who had redefined the franchise and drawn national eyes back to Indiana basketball. The weight of that absence could have crushed them before the game even began. Instead, head coach Stephanie White leaned into the challenge. Before tip-off, she spoke about what had been missing in Game 1, desperation. That wasn't just a critique, it was a demand. She told her team that they had to play with urgency every single possession, to treat loose balls and rebounds like lifelines, because anything less wouldn't be enough. The players listened. They didn't just hear her words, they lived them once the ball was in the air. From the opening moments, Indiana made sure this game wouldn't be left to the interpretation of referees. They scored first, defended with relentless energy, and set a tone that Atlanta never managed to match. For the first time since 2002, the Fever went wire to wire in a playoff game. There were no lead changes, no ties, no second chances for controversy. Indiana grabbed control and never let go, playing 40 minutes of basketball that made officiating irrelevant. In doing so, they didn't just even the series, they reclaimed their dignity. Defense was the heartbeat of the night. The Dream came in with shooters who could stretch the floor, but Indiana smothered them until every possession looked rushed and desperate. Atlanta managed just 1 three-pointer in the entire first half and finished the game hitting only 5 of 19 from deep. Their overall shooting barely cracked 39%. Nothing came easy. Every screen was fought through, every rebound contested, every passing lane disrupted. Indiana's defense dictated everything, and Atlanta never found rhythm. What had felt like a fragile team after Game 1 suddenly looked like a unit that could suffocate opponents and bend games to their will. On offense, it wasn't one star who carried the load, it was balance born from resilience. Kelsey Mitchell, often overlooked on the national stage, stepped forward with a performance that reminded everyone why she's been the backbone of this franchise for years. She led all scorers with 19 points and knocked down 4 threes that stretched the lead at critical moments. Without Clark's gravity-pulling defenders, Mitchell had to create her own shots and still find ways to open space for teammates. She thrived under that pressure, attacking relentlessly and ensuring that the Dream had to respect her every possession. This was her playoff stage at home, and she seized it with confidence. Alongside her, Aaliyah Boston reminded the league why she is quickly becoming one of the most dominant interior presences in the game. She tallied 15 points, collected rebounds, and dished out 3 assists, all while anchoring the paint on defense. Against Atlanta's physical front court, Boston didn't flinch. Instead, she found ways to score inside, absorbed double teams, and turned them into opportunities for her teammates. Earlier in her career, those double teams might have slowed her down. This time, they became weapons she flipped back on Atlanta. Her composure and growth were on full display, proving that Indiana has a true franchise cornerstone capable of shaping postseason games. Natasha Howard added the grit that has defined her entire career. With 12 points and 5 rebounds, she gave the Fever a toughness they needed. Howard battled on both ends, finishing through contact, digging out possessions, and setting a tone of physicality that Atlanta struggled to match. She didn't just play her role, she embodied the edge that made this game feel different. Her relentlessness turned close possessions into Indiana's advantage time and time again. Then came the spark no one could have predicted. Rookie Michaela Timpson, who had seen limited minutes all year, checked in and immediately delivered 9 points in just 9 minutes of action. Her quick finishes and fearless energy lit up the floor and gave Indiana an unexpected jolt. For a team stretched thin by injuries, Timpson's contribution was more than numbers on a stat sheet. It was a reminder that belief and preparation can turn any player into a difference maker when the moment calls. And in one of the night's most unforgettable moments, Lexi Hull drilled a buzzer-beating 3 at the end of the third quarter that sent the crowd into chaos. Gainbridge Fieldhouse erupted in a roar that shook the building, The kind of eruption fans had been waiting years to feel again during playoff basketball. Hull's shot didn't just extend the lead, it symbolized the spirit of the night, a dagger that told Atlanta this was Indiana's game. And nothing could change that. The Fever's 77-60 victory wasn't just about statistics. It was about rewriting the story after Game 1's frustration. It was about showing that officiating couldn't define them, that adversity wouldn't break them, and that missing stars didn't erase their fight. Aaliyah Boston summed it up afterward, describing the win as a defensive masterclass and reflecting on the pride that rippled through the locker room. The team's energy was contagious, their unity unmistakable. Even Caitlin Clark, stuck on the sidelines, felt it, cheering from the bench and celebrating her teammates with the same passion as if she were on the floor. This was Indiana basketball reborn. It wasn't just their first playoff win in almost a decade, it was a declaration that this franchise can rise again. With the series now tied, the battle shifts to Atlanta for a decisive Game 3. The Gateway Center Arena will be loud, hostile, and unforgiving. The Dream will play with desperation, knowing their season is on the line. But Indiana now carries something more powerful than desperation: belief. They've shown they can win without their star, that they can dictate pace with defense, and that they can silence doubt with sheer will. For Kelsey Mitchell, it's another chance to show her leadership on the biggest stage. For Aaliyah Boston, it's an opportunity to prove that she can anchor a playoff series against one of the league's most physical frontcourts. For Natasha Howard, it's another fight to win with toughness. And for the rest of this resilient roster, it's the moment to step fully into the spotlight, to take what Game 2 ignited and carry it into enemy territory. Game 3 isn't just another elimination matchup. It's a test of identity. Indiana knows exactly who they are now, a team defined by resilience, unity, and grit. They've endured doubt, injuries, and controversy, and still they're standing. The challenge in Atlanta will be brutal, but everything about this season has prepared them for storms like this. The Fever's fans will travel with hope, and the players will walk into that arena with a clarity that only comes from redemption. This isn't the same team that walked off the court in frustration after Game 1. This is a team that knows what it takes, and more importantly, knows that no matter what whistles blow, no one can take away what they earned together in Game 2. The series is tied. The tension is boiling. And as Indiana heads to Atlanta, they carry with them the momentum of a win that meant so much more than just a number on the scoreboard. It meant belief. It meant resilience. It meant that the Fever are back and they are not done yet. Now the question becomes yours. Do you believe this Indiana team can finish the job on the road and shock the league with a series win? Or will Atlanta find a way to reclaim the narrative? Share your thoughts in the comments, and if you're riding with the Fever, let us know with a loud "Let's go Fever!" Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next chapter in this playoff story.